From Manipur, when they walked into Moirang's central square with the tigers behind them, the kingdom went silent. Nong in the kingdom of Moirang, in what is now Manipur, many centuries ago, there lived a boy named Khamba and his elder sister Khamnu. Their parents had died. Their inheritance had been stolen by relatives. They lived in a single borrowed room at the edge of the village, surviving on the small handfuls of rice that Khamnu earned by weaving cloth. Khamba was strong, beautiful, and gentle, but he was so poor that the children of the village would not play with him. They called him the boy with no roof. He grew up quiet. He took it all in. He did not complain. On the other side of the village lived the Princess Thoibi, the niece of the king of Moirang. She was famous across the kingdom for her beauty and her stubbornness. She wore the best silks. She rode a small white horse. She refused to be married off to any of the suitors her uncle paraded before her. One day, returning from a forest shrine, her horse stopped on the path. She looked up. She saw a poor herdsman with no shoes lifting a fallen buffalo by its horns, all alone, without help. He set the buffalo upright as easily as a child sets up a fallen doll. Thoibi did not know who he was. But she got down from her horse and stood there, watching him, until he was finished and walked away. The next day, she came to the same place. He was not there. The day after, she came again. When at last Thoibi found him at the village pond, she did not flirt. She did not flutter. She walked up to him directly and said, "I am the niece of the king. I want to marry you." Khamba was so startled he could not speak. He stammered. He said, "I am Khamba. I am the boy with no roof. I cannot marry a princess." Thoibi said, "Then I will marry no one. Get used to it." From that day on, the whole kingdom of Moirang knew that the princess had chosen a poor herdsman and would have no other man. Her cousin Nong Ban, a powerful prince of the court, was furious. Nong Ban devised a series of challenges. He convinced the king that Khamba had to prove himself worthy of a princess. Each challenge was secretly designed to kill the herdsman. Khamba was sent to fight a wild buffalo that had been goring people for years. He wrestled it to the ground with his bare hands and broke its horns. He was sent to bring back a sacred drum from the bottom of a haunted river. He dove down, found the drum among the bones, and came up alive. He was sent to enter a temple of fire and bring back a coal from the altar. He walked in. He walked out. The coal was in his palm. He did not even seem to feel the heat. The whole kingdom began to whisper that this boy with no roof was a hidden incarnation of the god Khamba. Nongban came up with one last challenge. There was a pair of fierce tigers terrorizing the villages of the southern hills. Nongban told the king, "Send Khamba to bring them back to Moirang alive. No man can do that. He will die." Thoibi heard the order. She did not run. She did not weep. She put on a soldier's clothes. She tied her hair up under a helmet. She picked up a sword. She walked beside Khamba into the hills, and the king did not know she had gone. They tracked the tigers for many days. They cornered them at the edge of a cliff. They fought, side by side, the princess and the herdsman, until both tigers were bound with rope. They led them back to Moirang together, alive and snarling. When they walked into Moirang's central square with the tigers behind them, the kingdom went silent. Nong Ban tried, one last time, to challenge the marriage. He demanded a duel. Khamba accepted. Nong Ban was the finest swordsman of the kingdom. Khamba had been raised on milk and rice. They fought. Khamba won. He did not kill Nong Ban. He simply disarmed him and bowed politely. The king finally accepted what his niece had been telling him for 2 years. The wedding was set for the month of Mera. But Nong Ban would not let go. On the morning before the wedding, while Khamba was making the customary visit to his ancestral fields to honor his dead parents, Nong Ban sent his hired men with bows to ambush him from the bushes. They shot Khamba in the chest from behind. He fell in the field where his father had once worked. He died alone among the rice plants. When the news reached Thoibi at the palace, she did not say a word. She walked out to the field herself. She lay down beside him in the mud. She put her arms around him. She closed her own eyes. And there, that day, in the rice field, the princess who had chosen the boy with no roof died of grief beside him. The villagers found them in the morning, lying together, the mud beneath them red, the sky above them grey. The lovers were buried side by side. The story of Khamba and Thoibi became the central love story of the Meitei people, told in the courts of every Manipuri king for the next 1,000 years. Their tale is danced today in the Khamba Thoibi Jagoi, a sacred ritual dance in which young men and women, costumed as the lovers, retell their story to a circle of villagers in the moonlight. And every Manipuri grandmother still tells her granddaughters the same line, when she sees them fall in love with the wrong person, be like Thoibi. Choose what you choose. Do not look back. Tomorrow's story comes from another corner of India. Subscribe to walk with us through the folklore of every region, in your language.